Hi, it's Dwyer. It is March 1st, 2025. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. Also, keepingitfree.blogspot.com, a free site. Remember, nothing I say in this video should be construed as investment advice. The opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Just a couple of points this morning. I think it's very important that people grasp what's happening in the United States economy right now. Jim Rogers, famed international investor, has announced that he has sold all of his American stock holdings. Right again, Jim Rogers has sold all of his American stock holdings. In the comment section of this video, I'm going to post a link to the story. Understand, this comes at a time where the Buffett indicator is at twice what it should be. In other words, American stocks are hopelessly overpriced right now. Don't be fooled by the unemployment rate. Don't be fooled by all the optimistic political talk. Just understand that there's a lot of smart money out there that is hoarding cash right now. Just Google Warren Buffett's cash holdings right now. Right? And you have a lot of smart money that's liquidating their American holdings. Why? Because they want to sell at the top. Let's talk about other news. Now, when we're talking about real power, right, I believe someone with real power can't operate in broad daylight. They need a buffer. They need an operative. There is actually a purpose for politicians, because understand, if you're an advocate, if you're a market participant and you're openly pushing for a certain course of action, just recognize that there are people who disagree with you. Understand in general, and I want young people to hear this clearly, whatever is said in public, people do not handle disagreements well. The blowback is fierce. Right? We all have critics. Just understand that at all times, at least 20% of the people don't like you. Right? It's one of these deals where we look at people and we say, oh, he's so popular, or she's so popular. Then when something goes wrong, wow, can it go wrong in a hurry? Suddenly there's a group out there that wants to bury you. Suddenly there's a group out there that wants whatever customers you have. Suddenly there's a group out there that wants to go public and say, I never really appreciated his or her work. Just understand, even if you are viewed as popular in general, don't confuse an equilibrium with a consensus. Now, billionaire Elon Musk's Tesla shareholders are finding this out. Let me pivot right here and say this. There are very few, and I mean this, there are very few geniuses in life. I believe Elon Musk is one of them. Right? This is a public figure who is brilliant. This is not a guy relying on inherited money. This is not a guy who is relying on, being born on third base or, buying patents and then, acting like he invented the technology. No, this is actually a groundbreaking entrepreneur. Right? I just want to state that up front. I have the utmost respect for Elon Musk. Understand, he's unique in that he openly talks about what he likes, and then he himself, without a buffer, will get involved in the project. Right? He, unlike Quiet Power, which doesn't want their photo taken, doesn't want people to know how powerful they are, wants to look like they're just a face in the crowd, that they're just one voice in the room. Unlike that type of power, Elon Musk is loud power. Right? He's showing up on Joe Rogan's show. He's telling you what you think. We all know he's from South Africa. We all know he's not a fan of DEI. How do we know? He tells you. Right? He gives interviews. He's on X, and I'm grateful for X. But he's on X, and he is posting and favoriting views he likes. And some of those views aren't popular. Right? So let me just say here, taking a step back, here online, in earlier videos, you might recall I used to use high risk in the background. I might go back to that. But in earlier high risk videos that I did, I've been an EV skeptic. Right? In my opinion, the infrastructure, and by that I mean the lack of charging stations, right? There are still vastly more gas stations than there are EV charging stations. The lack of quick refueling. I can go to a gas station, fill up my tank, and then leave. It's a little bit more complicated with EVs. The misunderstanding about the environmental impact, right? People somehow think that electric vehicles don't involve a lot of environmental waste. And they do. It's just at a different point in the production curve. Also, the misperception that EVs have access to an abundant energy source. Folks, right now, understand, in the AI space, people are concerned about how they're going to find enough electricity to meet demand in that space. Right here in California, I can tell you we've had at different times, because of wildfires, what's called rolling blackouts. In other words, there's not enough electricity to, keep your electrical appliances on in the house on an ongoing basis. Right? And yet, there's a misperception in the EV world that, electricity is more abundant than gasoline. Right? Our electrical grid, that doesn't need to be upgraded. Right? Over time, reality will take over. Right now, let's just say there isn't a firm grasp on reality right now in assessing EVs. Let me add some other things to consider. No firm has a monopoly on making EVs. Right? Just understand that right now, these Trump tariffs, there's discussion in part because China is actually a lower cost provider in creating EVs than the United States. Right? If you didn't have tariffs, the cost of EVs and the number of brands being sold in the United States, the cost would drop, the number of brands would increase, there'd be many market participants. Right? EVs are becoming a commodity. They used to be a luxury good. Right? Again, no firm has a monopoly on EVs. But yet, Tesla's $1.1 trillion market cap is 5 times, again, 5 times that of Toyota, a company that actually makes more profits than Tesla. Why is Tesla so richly priced? That's a question many investors are asking. Well, now the chickens are coming home to roost, right? You now have critics of Tesla who actually own a lot of shares of Tesla. So you have Ross Gerber, a major Tesla investor, and he is predicting that Tesla could drop by up to 50%. You heard right. Tesla could get cut in half in terms of its market value this year. So that there's no confusion, so that you can actually read the same material I'm reading, I'll put a link to an article with Ross Gerber's comments in the description of this YouTube video. Right now, what I want people to consider, getting back to my 80-20 thesis, the idea that at all times, 20% of the people in the room don't like you, don't want you leading them, right? Don't feel that you have any imagination or anything meaningful to contribute, right? Don't want to see you succeed, aren't supporters, right? That's at any time. Just understand that polls are now indicating that some people are not buying Teslas, which are an international brand, because of Elon Musk's involvement with President Trump's Doge program. Right, folks? Elon Musk should have some member of Congress doing the heavy lifting for him in terms of government reform. Right? But that's not how he rolls. One of the reasons why investors love Elon Musk is the feeling that Elon Musk is devoting a lot of his time to his projects. Well, the Department of Government Efficiency is one of his projects. Right? Just understand what Doge is doing. And I support Doge. I want people to be clear. I view the present government as unsustainable. I believe we needed to cut government by at least 20% years ago. We haven't. Right? So we're at a debt load of $36 trillion. Our carrying costs on the debt, right? The debt servicing costs now exceed our defense budget. The United States is not better off, in my opinion, with bloated government. I understand many people disagree with me. But what I want people to just understand systemically is that a department who is laying off people, who have you, the federal employee, showing up to work shaking, right? Hearing about friends losing their jobs, getting directives from Elon Musk that you have to send them an email in which you justify your job. Tell them what you did in your job last week, or you're going to lose it. Right? The Grim Reaper group at work that is cutting jobs is rarely the most popular part of the operation. Right? Elon Musk right now is cutting jobs from the federal payroll. Folks, that's not a popular position to have. There's blowback. It's fierce. A lot of people didn't like Elon Musk anyway. Right? You know, they look at him. He lives in an orthodox lifestyle. Now, I say this as a libertarian. You know, Elon Musk, Nick Cannon, they could have as many kids as they want. I personally don't care. Right? As long as they're supporting their kids, as long as it works out for them, the mothers, the children, I'm good with it. But you and I know there's a portion of America that's not. Right? You look at Elon Musk, you see the unorthodox lifestyle. You look at Elon Musk, he's an immigrant. This is not a popular time to be an immigrant, right? And I say so as an immigrant myself. Right? You look at Elon Musk, he's wealthy. I'm just telling you that makes him suspect to many people. Right? We don't like the super rich. At least 20% of us don't, rightly or wrongly. Right? There are people in Congress who want, to tax them heavily. You just had a presidential candidate talking about a wealth tax. Right? So here you have Elon Musk. Rather than using power the way many others do, right? You have the president's ear. You tell the president, player, I gave a lot of money to your campaign. I was involved with you in the past in other business dealings. I backed you when there were impeachment proceedings against you. I need for you to cut the size of the federal government because right now I think it's unsustainable. Rather than do that quietly, behind the scenes, or through an intermediary. Rather than have Mitch McConnell, name the politician, right? Mitch McConnell, Jeffries, Tim Scott, quietly approach the president and say, hey, I've spoken to your big donor here, and they have these concerns. Instead, Elon Musk himself is running Doge. Elon Musk himself is making the moves, is talking about the moves he's making on X. Right now, folks, understand, I personally think Tesla's overvalued as it is. Right? I'm more interested in the robotics part of Tesla than I am the automobiles. I believe Tesla carries risk. You add in the fact that Elon Musk is unprotected, not using a buffer, as he is pushing government to cut people. Right? And you have a situation that all of us need to keep an eye on. Right? Let me say too, AI has exploded. Right? Sam Altman is not Elon Musk's favorite person. Elon Musk has shifted some of his attention away from Tesla toward Doge, toward his AI company, right? Toward his space company. So let's just say the investors who were enamored of the idea that Elon Musk was a EV revolutionary, devoting his time to electric vehicles, now we're realizing that Elon Musk is actually a conglomerate. That Elon Musk is going to have to start delegating some of his job responsibilities at Tesla. Right? Let me close by saying this. Apple thought about getting into space, electric vehicles, and they decided not to. Right? I need for folks to understand that China right now is exporting EVs all over Asia. Right? China is an EV juggernaut. Now let's think about what could go wrong. Right? Tesla is rolling out autonomous vehicles. They're really pushing this self-driving idea, right? Even Ross Gerber, major Tesla investor, has his doubts. Well, here's the problem. It's the risk involved. Tesla doesn't use the same technology that Waymo does, for example, right? Waymo is using LiDAR technology, right? Lasers, things like that. By contrast, Teslas are using cameras. Now, the problem with autonomous driving is the risk involved. If something goes wrong, you could have fatalities in a multi-car crash. You understand that. You wouldn't hop on a plane with the idea that there's a 2% chance that you might not make it to your destination. If you have kids, while some business travelers will say, hell, I need to get to, Boise, I'll take the risk for this account. Understand, you're not going to take the risk with your kids, with your partner, right? The chance of you taking the risk is going to greatly diminish if you're hearing about plane crashes caused by faulty equipment or computer error, right, by the technology you're using. If Tesla's AV technology fails, and you have videos here online of people having to driver assist a self-driving Tesla, right? You also understand that when you're using cameras, you have glare, right? There are going to be some days where there's snow on the ground, where there are deceptive reflections that a car might misinterpret. Now, that's a problem at 15 miles an hour. Folks, it's a substantial problem at 50 miles an hour. Right? We've all heard about major accidents on interstates during foggy conditions. That's with drivers, right? Multi-car crashes, people getting hurt, people getting injured. In those situations, we blame the weather. Right? Slick roads, overcast skies, maybe it was raining, poor visibility. Just imagine if you have a multi-car interstate crash and you're blaming one manufacturer's technology. Just think about the impact on the future sales of that manufacturer's goods. Right? So these are interesting times for Tesla. I encourage people to read the Ross Gerber piece. Right, again, this is a guy with substantial Tesla holdings. He knows the company. Right? I need for people to just think about the blowback toward Elon Musk. How loved is Elon? Right? I'm on X. I love X. I'm extremely grateful for Elon. I like entrepreneurs who get out in front of their product and tell you about the product. And, I like patriots who are bold enough to say, look, our government is too bloated right now. People have to be let go. Right, folks? You have all of that in one guy. Right? You have an economy headed into a recession just because of economic cycles. I'm not blaming the current administration for that. Right? As things go south, right? As more people lose their jobs, as hipsters who bought a Tesla thinking, hey, look at me, I'm green, right? I care about the environment. I'm modern. Now they're coming to grips with the idea that the car manufacturer doesn't support DEI, right? That the car manufacturer is helping lay off federal workers. How's all of that going to unfold? How does this plane land? We'll find out. Just be aware of the fact that there is substantial risk involved. Elon Musk is taking a risk by being so vocal and so out in public without a buffer. You just had a European leader, Starmer, the UK's Prime Minister, at the White House with President Trump, and understand what's happening in the UK right now. This free speech person can't even believe it. People are getting imprisoned for social media posts, right? And this is in the country of a longtime ally, right? Remember my words here. People don't handle disagreements well, right? If you view things differently than them, just understand some people will want you imprisoned. Elon Musk right now is ruffling a lot of feathers. Let's see how that impacts Tesla's bottom line this year at a time when the stock looks overvalued. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comment section of this YouTube video. Let me say this too. If you're a Tesla bull and you want to give us the reasons why, let's make this forum interactive. Go ahead and not only leave comments in the comment section of this YouTube video, but if you want to leave links, there are many videos here online talking about different parts of Tesla. If you want to leave links to such videos, please feel free to do so. You have my blessing. Thanks for stopping by.